Since March, we've been engaging with a group of 16 teenagers from Dunedin, exploring their attitudes and behaviors about what it's like to get around Dunedin these days as a young person, and what barriers they are faced with, and what decisions they have to make. For ease of discussion, we've divided the group into 2 panels of 3. Please join me in welcoming the first half of our teen panel to the stage. Feeling good? Okay, look great. So I'd like to start off by saying that, just so everyone knows that, well, first of all, thank you for agreeing to participate, to all 6 of you, and thank you for being here today. We've discussed transport issues over the last few weeks with the group, and we haven't prepared, or they haven't prepared staged answers to questions, and actually they don't really know what we're going to ask them. So it is a true panel discussion. And the panel has asked me to tell you that if you have a question at any time during the panel discussion, please just jump in, raise your hand, and we'll be discussing with the audience and with the panel and within the panel. So it'll be hopefully be quite dynamic. So any questions, just pipe right up. So I'd like to just begin by having you guys introduce yourselves and tell everyone your name and your age and what is your license status.
Hi, I'm Anna Marie Murphin. I'm 17. I go to Kavanagh College and I don't have my licence.
I'm Charlotte Steele. I go to Kavanagh College. I'm 17 and I don't have my licence either.
I'm Connor O'Neill. I'm also 17. I also go to Kavanagh College and I have my restricted licence.
Thank you. So I think I want to start off by just asking if you guys have any thoughts about any of the speakers that you've seen so far today. Just an open question to all 3 of you.
Well, I like the idea that perhaps cars are decreasing as a status symbol and instead we've got cell phones and technology, because personally I would take a laptop connected to the internet over a car.
I was going to ask you. Good, okay, good.
Yeah, I personally feel that a change in the way that we transport ourselves is really important. I am concerned about the environment and our future, and so yeah, I'm for decreasing car use, but I feel that we really need to change like public transport systems and active transport to make it easier for us to take alternatives to just having a car.
I have a similar opinion to Anna Marie. It's easy to say that we should decrease car usage, but at the same time we need a solution to that. And in a hilly city like Dunedin, there's a lot of sort of schools like OBs, Kavanagh and Otago Girls up on the hill. It is quite difficult sometimes to bike to those areas. So we do need to invest in a better transport option like public transports before we can say no to cars.
You bring up the idea of the multimodal system that Todd spoke of earlier. Do you think that would be, and this is again to all 3 of you, is something that's feasible for Dunedin?
Yeah, I really like the idea of it, but I'm wondering, is it too difficult to start developing it now? Like, you know, the way that Dunedin is all spread out and things are far away from each other, is that something that we can really change now?
And the bike lanes are so narrow, I don't know whether that would require widening the roads that we have now or narrowing parking space. It seems quite difficult.
These are valid concerns, yeah.
Also, the main highway that goes through Dunedin goes right through the middle near the hospital and quite close to the centre of town. So it is, at the moment, a very viable option to use cars to get places, especially from out of town. So if we do have to move away from transport like cars, we would have to think about the dynamics of making better bike lanes and better bus lanes.
And the hills make it very difficult as well. Since Dunedin is such a hilly city, I wouldn't like to cycle home because I live on a hill and I'd be cycling uphill the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I also just add, I think like active transport for me, like walking places from my house especially, is quite difficult because I'd have to walk about for 50 minutes or an hour, I think, to get to school. So it's not really an option. And then again with the biking, I would have to bike all the way up Rattray Street. And yeah, it's just not fun.
Not fun.
Rattray Street's not fun.
So, Connor, I'm curious for you as the only driver here. I guess what motivated you to get your license, and also what are like the economic influences? How does the cost of having a car affect?
Well, the cost of having a car is that it's a real catch-22 sort of thing. Having a car enables me to go places when I want to. I don't have to rely on public transport. I can go out in the rain. I don't have to worry about getting wet or maybe catching a cold. But the downside to that is I have to put funds that could go towards my university studies. I have to put those funds into maintenance, petrol, that sort of stuff. And also I have to give up on things like buying a new jacket or buying a new set of pants or that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So there are real pros and cons of owning a car. I haven't done any sort of analysis into if public transport would be more feasible, but having the freedom of a car is definitely good, but it comes at a cost, yes. What motivated me to drive was it was just sort of a natural progression for me. Just it'll be easier on my parents because they won't have to chauffeur me around the place, but also it gave me options as to what jobs I could have. I remember one summer, in the summer break, I had a job as a labourer, and the foreman on the site asked me to move the truck, and I just couldn't do it. And that was actually a wee bit humiliating for me.
Yeah.
So I just thought, well, I need to have the option there so I can actually say, yep, I can move the truck, or yes, I can go do this. So having a licence and knowing how to drive does open up options.
I think you mentioned another really key thing there on your parents, and I mean, open to anyone as well. Like, what sort of influence does your parents play in your decision to drive or not to drive?
Well, I'm really lucky because my parents like to drive me places. According to them, they like to drive me places. They say they like to spend time with me in the car. So I don't think I've ever been turned down when I've asked for a ride. It might help that my dad's retired. He does his own things in the daytime, but Mum drops me at school on her way to work and Dad comes and picks me up after school. My parents are keen for me to get my licence, not so they can not chauffeur me around, or at least that's what they tell me, but they want me to have some kind of degree of independency, and also my dad wants to buy me a car, so...
Oh, wow. As a status symbol?
I wouldn't see it as a status symbol. I don't see anybody as more important just because they have a car, especially in a high school setting. I don't think I see somebody as more cool if they have a car.
No.
I don't think my parents are really too worried about whether I get my licence immediately or not. They seem to be happy to drive me around places. Occasionally I feel like a bit of an inconvenience to them, but
So do I.
yeah, other than that, I don't think there's really any problem with it at the moment.
Can I ask all three of you, what percentage of journeys that aren't to and from school do you make entirely independently?
I would say about 95% for myself because I have a part-time job and I play numerous sports, so I think, the bulk of my journeys are self-directed.
And how do you make them?
I have my own car.
So you drive yourself?
Yeah, I drive myself.
And what about you girls?
I would say about 3 to 5% I make by myself. I'm usually driven by my parents, taking the bus. Until recently, I didn't actually know how to catch a bus. So it used to be something I did once every couple of months. I do walk places. That's generally downhill because I live on a hill and school's on a hill. So if I want to walk into town or I'm walking to the library where my mum works, I walk there and then we drive home together.
Maybe about 30% for me. I catch the bus sometimes to school in the morning, but I catch it home from school every day. And occasionally if I'm going into town to go shopping or something, I'll catch the bus in. But other than that, going to friends' houses or going to the supermarket or the shop or somewhere, my parents will take me. So, yeah.
What do you think about the buses in Dunedin? What are they like?
Tell us about your experiences on the bus.
Well, personally, since I don't have that much experience with buses, but in general I find them to be quite hostile to me. I think they're quite a hostile environment. I did have a go-card because I shifted houses and I was going to need to transport like regularly on a bus. So I got a go-card, and you load funds onto that and then you scan it when you get into the bus. But I found zones really confusing. If you get on the bus and you say 2 zones, I have no idea how to do that. So I get on the bus and I say to the bus driver, oh, could you please tell me how many zones it is to here? And the few times I've done that, I don't get much of a accommodating response, but I'm sure that's only 1 or 2 bus drivers. They don't seem happy that, like, I try and prepare myself. I talk to my friends beforehand. I'm like, how many zones is this? I don't want to inconvenience the driver, but it's not a very nice experience. I don't enjoy it very much.